Here in the capital city, in the Lone Star State. First of 4 games coming your way. Colorado State's also in town. Texas hosting up to that number 2 spot as the first pitch is up high and catches the lid of Kern. It's her 6th hit by pitch on the season.
Despite a tough run of batting average by the sophomore in the leadoff spot, the on-base percentage is there. Nearly 500 OB, and that is what you want to see out of a leadoff hitter. Takes one off the helmet early.
River Mailer, sophomore, 368 average on the young season. Started all 9 games. Tied for 2nd on the team with 7 hits.
A lot of praises were sung for Mailer by Coach Allister. Leader of this team, a voice of reason in this lineup, a spark plug, especially in the first 3 hitters here for Stanford.
Swinging away with the count at 1-2. For Stanford, began their season in San Diego. Played number 24 San Diego State, 1-3-0 there. Then 2 dates against Kentucky, losing both 2-1, then 3-2. Played Minnesota, UCSB, wins there before heading to Clearwater. Jam-packed schedule in Clearwater. A lot of those quality opponents. Started with a win against Georgia Tech. Had a 1-0 win over number 2 Tennessee at the time. In between that, losses to Florida State and Texas. This ball in play, right field. Into the glove of Grader for the out. So the runner not advanced.
Batting third in total, left field, number 3, Caitlin Cope.
Caitlin Cope, senior from Scottsdale, Arizona. It's a Stanford team, though, ranked in the top 4 in 4 different preseason polls. Obviously, that ranking at number 12 right now. But NFCA, 3rd, ESPN.com, 3rd, D1 Softball 2, Softball America, 4. Picked to win the Pac-12 in the preseason coaching poll. Ripped over to 3rd, diving back is the runner, but not in time to turn the double play. Good deep.
Glasgow said just a positive spark in their lineup, especially early in this 1 through 9.
The star of this one, Nigeri Kennedy, folks. If this is your first time seeing the sophomore from Topeka, Kansas, she had about as good of a freshman campaign as you can have. Star for Stanford. Leading the Pac-12 already with 44 strikeouts, but by her standards that she obviously set astronomically high, a little slower start on the year, but part of that attributed to the tough opponents. Sophomore Davis from Lovelady, Texas. Tip back, strike 3. Kennedy, the D1 Freshman of the Year by the NFCA. Also named Freshman of the Year by D1 Softball and Softball America. 17-3 was the record. Led the country in ERA, .57. Aaron, what's most impressive about this young pitcher?
What isn't impressive about this arm? She's got the speed, she's got the control. Low 70s, a true rise ball spin. It's a late break. The ball just dances up in the zone. I can tell you my personal experience in facing rise balls, it's a hard pitch to lay off of. It's that right there. The fact that she can bring it letter high, she can get a called strike with it, but she can also clip just above those letters as well for a swing through. So hard to differentiate the difference in those two locations as a hitter.
Hayden down 0-2. Up top, back-to-back strikeouts for Kennedy.
This is what you're going to see from her, just dominance. Suffocating, the way she attacks the strike zone, goes right at you.
Strikeouts per 7 innings, 11.3. Also ranked second in hits allowed per 7 innings, 3.32. So that is what this Louisiana hitting lineup and the three-hole Langeliers will have to deal with today. You can see too, she is pounding the strike zone. That ball, first ball, but a pretty good pitch in itself. Langeliers, 389 on the season. 7 hits, 4 of those for doubles, 2 for home runs. Is Kennedy ahead 1-2.
Whew, 53 miles an hour.
Mike Hernandez, the home plate umpire, deemed that a ball. Matt Johnson at first, Robert M. Gonzalez, our umpire crew. It's a good looking pitch.
It's almost a 20-mile-an-hour difference.
What does that feel like for a hitter to try to navigate?
It's jarring. It's very jarring, especially when you're just trying to catch up with a rise ball. You're just trying to square up timing on some high heat, and then boom, she pulls the string right at the knees. It's devastating.
Full count. Cross for a strike. Gets her looking. Kennedy strike.
The freshman class is impressive. 6 new faces joined the Longhorns. Been really impressed with Kavan in the circle, a new arm, a new addition to this Texas staff. I think Washington looks really good as we see the sunset for the Pac-12. The last season, Stanford hosting the Pac-12 tournament this year, which is exciting. We're still so early, but there is a lot of offense that we have seen exploding across the nation. I know you saw it in Clearwater.
Pitching's out of style these days. Pitching, what's that?
It is pretty amazing, just the pendulum that we've seen swing in the sport of softball. We've seen pitching dominant seasons, and now we're starting to see the dominance of offense.
Ali Kaneshiro, the senior catcher, 250 hitter, but can't talk the success of Kennedy in the circle and not mention Kaneshiro and what she has done as part of that battery, but also part of the leadership group for the Stanford team. She was a Gold Glover. She's one of the top defenders in the country last year. NFCA All-West Region 3rd team. Pac-12 All-Defensive team. Started all 62 games last year, which is also pretty impressive for a catcher as she begins second inning with a walk.
Sometimes catchers can fly under the radar, and I want to take a second just to give her some praise, because it's one thing to have a stellar arm like Kennedy on your staff, but you've also got to have someone that can catch that arm.
Hot shot down the first base line, out into right. Kaneshiro will dig for third in safely. The ball trickles on the poor throw. We have our first run of the game as it crosses Kaneshiro. Gall with the hot hitting.
This is a good approach by Gall. I think that's just seeing the 4 at-bats in front of her, a hit by pitch to lead off this game, a walk to start off this inning, knowing that if she sees a strike early in the strike zone, she's gonna have to take a hack and be aggressive.
So Ava Gall with the single, then the air on Campbell out in right field will bring Kaneshiro around to score. Pitch running will be Kylie Buckley. So the Cardinal in business. Butt laid down, it advances the pinch runner, and in safely is Emily Jones to first.
Allred shaking her head at first base, not happy about that call. A beautifully executed bunt by Jones. This ball just dies right in front of home plate. And Rowe cutting across third. Hard to see with that angle. The throw appeared to be there in time. I think what's up for debate here is if there's maybe a collision with the glove as the ball is being tracked in. That is a hard call. Here's a better angle. That looks to be an out.
It was interesting last week for Stanford down in Florida. You had a lot of the top teams in the country. There was no replay.
Oh.
So there were players that were looking for replay, coaches that were looking for replay. We do have replay and review instituted here. Umpire review. The call will be changed. Out over at first is Jones.
It's a nice play by Rowe at third, covering a lot of ground, cutting across the field.
How about the play? We had to get out real quick, but Rowe made to end the last inning. Jade Berry, freshman from Queen Creek, Arizona. Can't hold back on that offering from Landry.
It's a nice sequence from Landry. She's hard screw away for strike one. Comes low and in with an off-speed drop and then goes right back to that heat, the screw on the outer corner against Berry.
0-2 pitch. How about the frames too?
Yeah.
See? Going some tortoise shell out there in the circle. Back over our heads. Team's getting together for the 4th time.
For a second, I thought you were talking about the frame job behind the plate by
Got her
Valdez.
glasses.
I was talking about the catcher.
I knew you'd get me there. They haven't met since 2012. Louisiana has won the last 2. Shortly to second. And that right into the glove of Langeliers. Nice job to scoop underneath. Hold Buckley over at third. Allie Clements, Texas product, junior from Klein, Texas. .500 average on the year for Clements. Just the 3rd game that she has started, just her 5th at bat. Does have 2 hits.
That's a pitch we're going to start to see surface a little bit more. Haven't seen Stanford put many good swings on that pitch. It was the pop-up that we just saw at second base. Langlier catching that ball coming in.
Ahead once again, 1-2, outside, cannot bring it back. One does score though on the air. Stanford. The softball season is ushered in, and I love the years that we get good weather.
Me too.
When
How
it's
many times have we
cold.
been here when it's
We've had a couple,
frigid?
yeah. It's much
Frigid,
easier to
yes.
welcome in
Agreed.
the spring slate of sports. Nigel Kennedy back out into the circle, was impressive. Struck out the side first time up, showing the full arsenal. Send that to yourself. Send that to Blair.
Come on, Max. That's it. Nice good work. I like it, nice. Hey, keep it up, 2-4, yeah,
So
nice.
then we can figure out.
Come on, D. Yeah, nice. Good job. Nice good work.
She's starting to work all sides of the plate. We've seen her really just hammer up in the zone primarily, but now starting to chip away under the hands. 3 batters faced, 3 strikeouts so far for Kennedy.
Make it 4.
Make it 4. Why not? One of the best arms in the nation. One of the best arms that we've seen come through this game. An unbelievable freshman season. Truly one of the best. NCAA Freshman of the Year. 2nd player in school history to receive that national honor.
Ashley Hansen, the other, 2011 USA Softball National Player of the Year. Kennedy had an 18 strikeout game against Villanova.
How about this? Just in NCAA play last season, she only allowed 5 total runs, only allowed 6 hits. In 36 innings, she had 50 strikeouts. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, that really puts it in perspective.
Cat Osterman numbers.
I mean, and that, again, that's on the biggest stage as a freshman in NCAA play.
Lauren Allred, the sophomore, tried to find Kennedy.
That's 2-4, yeah, nice. Go deep. That is 2-4. Come on, nice. Good job.
Another strikeout thus far, 5 in a row.
Good pitch. We go, nice.
This is facing a Louisiana team that just in years past, the history of Louisiana softball have been very strong, kind of a juggernaut of an offense. Big swings, long balls. That's what Coach Glasgow's known for as well. Very high producing, potent offense. And that's been some of the frustration for him this season, as he just feels like his lineup is pressing, just trying to do too much all at once. In practice, they've been focusing on live at-bats, seeing live pitching, really trying to replicate game time pressure. He said, we have great practices, and for some reason it locks up in game play.
Good pitch.
It's been a program over the years that you did not want to have to go down and play
Oh
in
my
their
gosh.
environment. One of the rockinest environments in NCAA softball.
And I've done it, and it is just that. It is hostile. Great hospitality, though. Some awesome people down there.
Good job. Hey, where the cameras on?
But it is hostile. Absolutely. A lot of pressure. Like I said, there's the history of this team has been potent offense.
They'll butter you up, they'll feed you gumbo, po' boy, but then they'll beat you down.
That's it. That's it.
Go get her.
It's been the story Louisiana over the years,
Let it go, nice.
especially regionally here in the state of Texas. Also for you, Oklahoma, you know, when you look at regional, super regionals, that Louisiana's usually going to be in that conversation.
Right.
Keep it up.
1-2, Kennedy already with 5 consecutive strikeouts, goes off speed.
Just who they're led by, too. Jerry Glasgow has been here since 2017. A lot of experience under his belt previously, just in the SEC alone. Auburn, Texas A&M, Georgia. And these are historically NCAA teams, postseason teams.
On the elbow, so awarded first. Piscos be the first base runner. That one just inside. Notice that over the years that more and more batters have been braver and braver at getting closer and closer. Stanford will take a beat in the circle. So Louisiana team last year, 50-16. They went 22-2 in their conference play.
Got you, Bart.
Ended up going to the Baton Rouge Regional.
Ain't nobody better, Nash.
Out of there, victorious, defeating LSU. 7-4, then 9-8. You know that those were some rocking games between those two programs. Record 6-5, preseason ranked 21st, picked to win the Sun Belt. 6 all Sun Belt preseason team selections.
Go deep. Middle. Go back hard.
Went to the Seattle Super Regional, where they played Washington. Was an 8-0 loss, and then 2-0 against the Huskies, a really good Washington team last year. Figures to be really good this year.
You've seen them already this year.
I have.
What did you think?
Very good. Very, very good. The Pac-12 will have one final ride that will be enjoyable to watch before that quartet of teams departs for the Big Ten, which is going to be something unto itself.
I think that's a whole nother conversation we can get into as well,
Yeah, I had
Tyler.
Washington, Wisconsin. It was like, these are going to be conference foes soon enough. And
Texas heading to the SEC, Oklahoma heading to the SEC. Got some new faces moving into the Big 12.
some here already as the 0-2 is up high, gets past Kaneshiro. And it allows Piscos to put the first runner in scoring position. Are you seeing anything from Kennedy?
That's just what I was about to say. A little pressure here with 2 outs. One gets away from her just barely. Clips the elbow of Piscos, and
she reaches back and puts some juice on that pitch, 70 miles an hour.
even just the quick conversation in the circle, trying to calm her down just to get out of the inning.
That'll do.
That'll do it.
Another batter looking, 6th strikeout of the contest. Yeah, why not? Tyler Denning, Aaron Miller, game number 1 of day number 1 of this Lone Star State Invitational. Texas hosting 3 other teams for 3 days of action. 4 games today, 4 games tomorrow, 2 on Sunday to close out the weekend. Weather figures to be great. We have 2 participants from last year's Women's College World Series in Stanford and Texas, 2 teams that are currently sporting top 15 rankings. This Louisiana team went to Super Regionals last year, and always a good program for Colorado State as well, coming in to join what will be a great weekend here early on, 3rd weekend of the softball season. It's the 9-hole hitter.
I think this is going to be the 2 pitches we will see thrown against Stanford until they can make an adjustment. It's the hard screw away from a lefty, an abundance of lefties in this starting lineup, and it's the off-speed drop that comes under the hands. The contrast between those 2 pitches is something that Stanford's going to have to figure out and solve for.
Graduate student Caitlin Lim is from Irvine, California. Lim just 1 at bat.
This is that screwball hard and away, barely misses off the outer part of the plate. That's a good spot in a tough count.
2-2, that was nearly me. I'm not reaching for that one. Yeah.
Wow.
It hit right here, near our booth. We're not far enough into the season yet to where I'm looking
get the glove ready.
to make that play. Comes back inside, does Landry for the strikeout, sitting down Lim.
And then here's the off-speed drop. This one actually a little high. She misses high on this pitch, but it's enough to get the job done. The contrast with these lefties, those two pitches, hard screw away, off-speed low and in. Textbook.
Top of the order, Taryn Kern. Wasn't just Kennedy last year that had spectacular debut. Sophomore from San Jose, California, Taryn Kern. She had a dominant freshman season at Indiana. Big Ten Player and Freshman of the Year. Top 25 Collegiate Player of the Year finalist, NFCA All-American second team, All Big Ten freshman team, 3-time Big Ten Player of the Week, 6-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. She broke 3 single-season program records, 23 home runs, 65 runs batted in, 68 runs scored. Hitting .404, the .578 OBP, slugging .942 as that ball slugs her in the back.
Second one of the day. We've already talked about this, but even reinforced by Coach Allister when we had a chance to talk with her. She said, I get it. The numbers don't really, this season, tell the story of why she's in that leadoff spot, a 100 average coming into today. But the on-base percentage does. She's on base half the time.
Yeah, 471 coming into this one. 9 walks, 5 hit by pitches, 2 more to add to that. And it's the most important thing for your leadoff players.
Set the table.
Get on. Doesn't matter how you do it. I'm sure it'll hurt a little bit more if you continue getting hit by a pitch. To get on. Mailer flew out deep to right. That's been our highest, furthest hit ball thus far, other than the one that Gall smoked out to right. Just one hit on the board. Puts another one in play out to right. Gloved in by Grader for out number 2.
Left fielder number 3 in the coach.
Caitlin Cope out to center. Davis makes the grab for out.
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you
Excellent.
for joining us. What are you seeing early on from your team?
Yeah, I'm happy to push a run across the board. You know, would like to have another. Wish we could have converted with the runner at third base, but it's a good thing that we're getting them on. I think Nigel's doing a good job in the circle, and yeah, settling into the game.
Coach, what are they seeing at the plate? What's the game plan offensively against Landry?
Yeah, I think Landry does a good job of mixing speed and spins, right? So she can go down, she can go up, changes speeds obviously very well, and she competes in the zone. So you can't start existing between all the speeds. You probably want to get something down, and when we get something hard, you probably want to get a swing off.
Coach, that brief conversation in the circle with Kennedy, what was it about?
Just shoring up some mechanics. You know, that's what we're always doing this time of year. You get more game reps than practice reps. So just making sure that we're taking care of those things.
Coach, we know you're a reader. What book are you reading?
Oh, man, I don't know. I never know the names of the titles. I've got nothing, but it's about a Pakistani refugee. It's wonderful.
Amazing.
All
Thank you
right,
for your
take
time,
care.
Coach.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Let them get underway. Had a great conversation with her yesterday, and she is an avid reader. Had asked her what it was that she focuses on in the off season. She said, as any good leader should, you're trying to add to that toolkit and books that she reads. allows her to do such. She'll send Kennedy back out into the circle. Victoria Valdez, sophomore from Alvin, Texas.
Just started getting into novels again this year.
Good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I need to get your book list, Tyler.
I'll send it to you.
I know you're an avid reader yourself. So.
Avid reader. Always keep reading. Kennedy. Rock and roll. 3 straight strikes. She works efficient. She works fast. But I think to the point of the conversation we just had with Coach Allister, she's a sophomore. There's still going to be learning and progression moments.
Even beyond just class, I think if you're really committed to the sport of softball, you're always a student.
Well, off the bat, out into center field, so the first ball in play that's not a strike out. 8 of 9 first pitch strikes is Elistad, the 9-hole hitter, will represent the second out. Goes back to the top, and Davis. For Coach Allister, Cardinal 4 NCAA appearances, 13-9 record with back-to-back NCAA Super Regionals. Played for Stanford, 11 appearances as a player, assistant, or head coach. As a player, it was from 01 to 04, an assistant from 07 to 09 before heading off to Minnesota. 7 years there. Pretty good when you had nothing contest. Stanford and Louisiana here in Austin, joined by Louisiana head coach Jerry Glasgow. Coach, what are you seeing from Kennedy? What are you saying to your batters as they go up against this pitcher?
Exactly what we thought we would see. You know, we're seeing a rise ball get above the barrel, and we've worked all week on knowing that the barrel's going to start out the game, you know, below the ball. And we got to find the ball. We got to find contact, and it's just a matter of them making the adjustment. But you know, so I'm telling them, like, the hitter in the box is the only one that can make that final adjustment. And so hopefully we're either going to learn a lot, or we're going to learn how to adjust here in a hurry, and that's the key right now.
Coach, some good innings out of Sam Landry in the circle. What's she doing so well right now that's making her effective?
No, she changes speeds really well, and she can locate really well. And, you know, she's pitched around base running. I don't want to see her get some clean innings, too many walks and hit by batters. But when she does, she's bear down, and she's pitched really well for us all year. She's been outstanding in the circle the entire year.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Look forward to talking to you all weekend.
All right, thank you.
It's a UL team in the midst of a 15-game away stretch. 5th straight season that they've played here at McCombs Field. No stranger to Power 5 competition. In February alone, 11 games. Played in the Longhorn Invitational here last year, so Coach Glasgow probably got some haunts around town that he likes, just like you coming down. Your taco spot and go get your cycle on.
I gotta say, even though I am a Sooner born and bred, I love me some ATX. I love coming here. This is a great city.
You heard it here, folks. Breaking
Truly.
news.
I really do love Austin, Texas. It's a beautiful place to be.
Kaneshiro begins the inning, and she'll begin with a base hit on the ground out to center field.
Good food.
Just not good enough to come here to play softball at the time.
Good softball. Great weather when it's not, you know, 115-degree heat index. I can speak for right now, right? Good weather right now.
Yeah, if it only stay this way through
Exactly.
August. Yeah, it's going to be one of the great things to watch as this season evolves. You talked storylines early on. We will get to see later this afternoon. You folks will get to see as well. Number 2 Texas, who has had probably as good of a start as you could have drawn up for Mike White, with an uber-talented roster. Obviously, everybody in the country, not just Texas, the Big 12 or this tournament this weekend, chasing Oklahoma across the course of the year, but Texas looking really good
Yeah, I mean, already breaking news, I love Austin, but secondly, breaking news, I think Oklahoma's going to have a really tough road ahead to secure a Big 12 title, let alone a 4th national championship. Big 12 is stacked this year.
Oklahoma State figures to be right back in the mix per usual with Kenny Gajewski and company.
Baylor had a couple solid wins against Louisiana.
Yeah, that was on the 16th and 18th of this month, 4-1, and then at the victory for Louisiana, Baylor 3-2 and 6-0 as Louisiana. Second double play they've turned to this contest.
Yeah, where some things have been rocky for this Raging Cajun team, defense has looked unbelievably airtight today against Stanford, led by Hunter Veach, a new addition to this staff for Louisiana. Coach Glasgow just talked about his commitment to excellence on the dirt, infield being his baby. Got tested early this season, but as they've gone down the road, really shored things up on the dirt. Here's Hunter Veach. Spent some time at Auburn under Clint Myers. Was in player development at Texas A&M.
So after the 3-6-3 double play that gets Kaneshiro out of the mix, we have quite the pitcher's duel developing here. That double play important as that ball well hit up the right field line by Jones, a stand-up double. But no damage after the defense. Nice piece of hitting there.
This is some of the adjustments we're starting to see from Stanford, facing the hard screwball away. You can see this one misses up and out. And trying to match up that timing to also be able to hit that off-speed drop under the hands. A really good approach by these lefties.
Second double of the year for Jones. That ball in foul territory. Efforting was Elstaff from short, can't get there in time.
That's a play you really need to make right there. Hard for shortstop to cut across the field. But with 2 outs and you're starting to see Stanford catch some momentum here in the bottom of this lineup, you want to get out of the inning.
Long run for Brooke Elistad. Off speed in for a strike.
That's the pitch. If it's me on the left-hand side of the plate, I know I'm gonna at least see that pitch once, if not twice.
Outside.
Screwballs typically at least in the river. Hard to hit a double with that pitch anyway. I'm gonna sit slow and I'm gonna sit low and in.
Two with Jones on second. 2 down here in the top of the 4th inning. In play over to third. Seen some really good defense by Rowe over there. Makes the throw. Begins with Clements, the 8-hole hitting right fielder.
Despite a couple of free bases, you get the 2 hit by pitches with Kern, the walk back in the 2nd inning against Canchero. This has been a pretty good outing for Landry. She's had some good defense behind her. 2 double plays have been rolled behind her, 2 Ks on the day.
Can, though, Landry and this defense keep it at a manageable 1 run? Good start to the inning for Stanford with the bloop single. Clements drops it in the Bermuda Triangle. Where's the Bermuda Triangle? Where does it end? Start or end? That whole, I mean, that's still, I guess that's shallow center.
It is
the triangle's
shallow
more
center.
to the left.
Depends on how much ground your shortstop can cover. We saw Elstad flash that on the other side of the field. She almost made that catch down the left field line in foul territory a couple innings ago.
Pinch runner will be Danny Hayes, Jr. from Douglasville, Pennsylvania. Bunt down, Hayes over to second. Out at first is Lim, but in the scoring position now with 1 down.
Number 99, Taryn Kern.
I think this, out of all the stats for Kern, most surprising. Just 1 run batted in. So compared to the great numbers, this will be an opportunity for her. Try to return to that form of last year. Yes, the OBP has been solid for a leadoff hitter, but now with the table set, can you get your teammate home in this 1-run game?
Nice off speed there. And if you're Landry, you're going right at the strike zone. You can see the average. You know the potential mental game that Kern is going through at the plate. You're not going to want to give in to another free base, especially with the duck on the pond.
Kern ahead, 2-1. Takes ball 3.
Looking to mash here if you're Kern.
What's the pitch? What are you expecting?
She goes on the inner corner here. I don't know that it'll be off speed.
There's ball 4 up high, 2 on.
And you really want that out. If you're Landry, you gotta have it. Now you turn to look towards the meat of this order.
17th free pass for Kern, and Mailer has had probably the 2 best at-bats against Landry. They've both ended in flyouts to right, but in terms of contact, let's put the barrel to the ball. It's just placed wrong spot thus far. 0-1 pitch.
Tip your cap to the patience of Kern. Because I can tell you, if that's me at the plate, I've had a little rough go at the average lately. I know what's in the tank. I know that I can mash. And there's a runner in scoring position. I'm swinging out of my mind.
This ball bounces off the dirt just past the shortstop, so the run comes in safely to home. Is Hayes. Second run of the contest for Stanford.
fundamental softball. That's the name of the game for Stanford today. Stringing some hits together, doing the little things well, laying down the bunt, moving runners 60 feet, taking an extra 60 feet on an errant throw. A good eye, a disciplined eye at the plate, especially with a very, very good outing of Sam Landry in the circle.
So Mailer registers the first hit with a runner in scoring position with the RBI single. This ball, hard hit out to left, going back towards the track. Nice grab made by Hayden. Runners will have to head back after the long fly ball out.
This had some juice on it.
It did.
It may have had a chance there. Some very tall outfield walls here that it's got to clear, but a just very athletic catch from Hayden. Tracks this ball back to the warning track. Saves a run. Also, you got a high sky. There's not a cloud in the sky. Sun's beaming down. You got the visors out.
Odd, I was looking at the flags to try to determine the wind, and the flags are sitting limp, but it is windy. There is wind. Nothing quite to carry that ball out.
Sometimes a high sky with no clouds, it can kind of be deceptive. Tyler, it doesn't give you a point of reference for depth perception. That was always something hard for me to describe to people as an outfielder. Clouds provide reference points, and when you don't have any clouds and the sun's beaming down, it can be hard to track down a ball.
Count 1 and 2, 2 on, 2 out. Stanford with 2 on the board, won this inning, trying to provide a little bit more for Kennedy, or if we're to see a new arm in the circle, potentially. Saul Kraus warming up. Thus far, 2 may be enough for Kennedy, but would love more if you're Stanford, as ball 2 is across. Kern over on second after the walk. The RBI single for Mailer has her at first.
Starting to see some of the command tarnish just a bit in the circle. Getting behind in counts.
And we haven't seen a ton of full counts for either pitcher. Ball 4 issued. Bases now will be loaded. Kaneshiro walks.
First baseman, number 51, Ava Gall.
Ava Gall ripped that ball down the first base line. Her first at bat, hit into a double play, second time up. Good news for Landry, working ahead 0-2.
It's a really good pitch. 0-2 count. Pulls the string on this. This is the location you want for an off speed, right at the kneecaps.
Have to do it again. This ball in play, tough play for the second baseman, Langeliers. It bounces up. First runner's safe, second is as well. Sliding in does Mailer. 2 more on the board, 4-0, the Cardinal.
A hard hit chop. Langelier trying to come up through this. And look at this play at home.
Center fielder, number 18.
Throws high. The foot's in. It's the right call. Good base running by Stanford.
Now UL will want some time to chat about a game that moved to 4-0 after the 3 runs that have been scored in the top of the 5th. Started with a single from Clements. Hayes then pinch ran. She comes around and scores after Lim with the sack bunt. Then the walk by Kern. You talked about the importance of that out. It's a line for Landry, 4 2/3, 6 hits. 4 runs with runners on the corners now. Jones had the double last time up. That's a go, EJ. That's my EJ chant.
Name that song. Come on.
Wayne.
I knew you'd have the answer.
Come on, Louisiana. UL. Got to tuck the boot. Down low for a ball. Do you see maybe now Landry being a little more careful? Some of these hitters.
The biggest change is just not getting that first pitch strike. She's typically able to clip the outer part of the strike zone with that screwball. We've seen her miss early and just having to climb herself out of a hole constantly.
Third baseman number 10, Jay Berry.
So the walk to EJ. Maybe a pitching change coming for UL.
You'll see her live on that side of the plate, especially against a lefty, arm side dominant. Screw is that bread and butter for her. She's evolved a bit with some new pitches. She's developed a curve low in the zone. She can elevate it as well.
Ahead 0-2, fought off. Berry, the 9th batter, sent to the plate this half inning for Stanford.
It's interesting, we didn't see a lot of action in the bullpen for Louisiana.
And we didn't even have an alert as to Ryan being up and throwing, so can she find her rhythm here in this heavily trafficked situation? 5 strikeouts, 3 walks. He's given up 2 doubles, no triples or home runs thus far, 14 hits. Off of the arm of Ryan. 1-2, bases still loaded, still 2 outs. This ball playable over at third, finding it in that bright Central Texas sky.
Some of her ability just to spot the zone start to wither away in later innings. Power of persistence, though, at the plate, just chipping away.
Najee Kennedy back out into the circle. Hayes inserted into left field for Stanford. So Kennedy now with little more breathing room. Not as if she needed it thus far, with just the 1 hit given up. 9 strikeouts. This your first time seeing Kennedy in person?
It is. It is my first time. Impressive. Just as, if not more impressive in person than she is on TV.
quickly to short for out number 1. For Kennedy, Coach Allister said of her, it's that legit upspin. You had made mention of that with the scout, 70 miles an hour. A lot of the times it goes down, but for Coach Allister, who's been around quite a bit, has a pretty good picture in her dugout coaching-wise, unlike anything that she had seen. But also for Kennedy, said good start, but she is not happy. Feels like she can be sharper in her command. Is another ball over to short, but the returns for Kennedy thus far have been really good.
It's always a great marriage when you've got an athlete that's not only super talented, wickedly talented, but also has that self-awareness mentally, that wants to sharpen her game, take responsibility for performance, never settle, never be on autopilot. That's Kennedy.
Another hit batter. Say that Piscos that had been hit in the second, so just two, gone a little too far inside is Valdez. First pitch swung on by the 9-hole hitter. Elistad into the glove over of third. Barry there to make the grab. Kennedy cruising 8-9. Showed you top of the show, Stanford. 12 ranking, 5-4 record, but out of those 9 games, they've played 6 ranked opponents. Coach Allister said you put the schedule together, you're not really sure how the cookie's going to crumble, especially with tournaments. But they have gotten a tough draw and prefer it that way as iron sharpens iron. Also, we'll see some of that across the course of the weekend.
Big win over number 2 Tennessee for Stanford. Dropped a couple games against ranked teams, but shakes out pretty evenly, I think, based on who they've faced.
They've already played Texas once. They lost 9-2, but we'll get a chance again at Texas here in Austin. Back to Ryan over. Alward covering first. Yeah, I think so hard to get a gauge. I've never, all sports, been a fan of preseason polls. I think we should do, maybe like a preseason watch list like we do with players. And
get behind that.
Hesitate to do polls maybe until a couple weeks down the road. Obviously, it makes it easier for us TV-wise, and cool to say a top 10 matchup, but you just never know with returning pieces lost.
Injuries. Jordy Ball out for the season in Nebraska. So much can happen in those first 2 weeks.
Shallow left field. Elistad there to make the grab for out number 2. But really, like after this weekend, you're starting to get a little better picture as to what teams may look like. It's also for a lot of teams where they rack up their frequent flyer miles. Did you get flyer points if you guys ever flew?
No.
Do you get hotel points? Do student athletes get that now?
No, I will.
Yeah.
I would hope.
I would think, maybe not the hotel
I'd be a platinum member now by
points, but at least if you're flying commercial, that you would get everybody, your mileage. You should have status by your freshman year. But point being, there's so much crisscrossing, travel, and then you throw weather into the mix as well. Stanford was out in Florida, and their first game, there were travel considerations. Weather came in and ended up taking out the rest of the tournament Saturday and Sunday, but going cross country. And folks, I think it's lost sometimes. These are still student athletes. They're still taking classes. You have to be back to attend their classes. I'm sure you had some professors that were like, hey, look, you got to be here.
Yeah.
You don't want to name names?
It's good. It's a great reminder, too, I think, Tyler, that especially early in the season, a team like Stanford having to travel a lot early to go out and get those good matchup games. It's rigorous. It's exhausting having to get on a plane every week to try and sneak in some quality practices outside when you can. Trying to rest, trying to find time to study, being at class. I mean, it is tough. It is tough on these coaches. It is tough on the staff, tough on these student athletes, and they're still figuring out ways to get it done.
3-2 pitch to Kern. So Kern has gotten on every single time. And I said, hey, you're going to see Taryn Kern. Okay, 4 hits. But she's gotten on. Hit by a pitch the first 2 times and then walked the next 2 times, but continues to get on base, that OBP. Shooting up.
Obviously, that's a win. 4 times at the plate, 4 times on base, but I know it's a mind game for her as well. Wanting to put the barrel on the ball, wanting to get the bat off the shoulder.
But like you said, for the last at-bat, that discipline, she had a 3-1 count. She had a hitter's count.
You're wanting to swing out of your shoes.
She didn't?
No.
You know, and maybe that's where, if you want to find that rhythm that you've shown, that patience. Standing over at first with Mailer, who had the RBI single last time up. Got things going for Stanford that added some insurance to what's been a stellar effort in the circle for Kennedy. Strike 2. Hey, Coach Allister had said of the schedule, let's go back to that. They had left Florida, got back, gave the team the day off early in the week, got 2 really good practices on Tuesday and Wednesday. So swing and a miss for strike 3 as Ryan ends the season. First time seeing her in person. She has not disappointed. Dealing to this Louisiana lineup, the NFCA D1 Freshman of the Year. Came in leading the Pac-12. Already had 44 strikeouts prior to this contest. Has added 9 to the tally. Team is chipped in to the tune of 4 runs. Top of the order, Davis has struck out twice. This ball on the ground, and Mailer underneath her glove, and then trying to collect out in center. The ball bobbles around. It's Davis in business to begin the 6th for Louisiana.
Mailer just gets caught on the heels here. You see her almost take a drop step backwards. Want to see that momentum working through the ground ball. I think she's just trying to play a hop and misread it. Speaking of schedules too, Tyler, thinking about how Coach Allister setting herself up and her team up for a tough road early to prepare them for later in the season. Louisiana doing the same thing. Jerry Glasgow said, I felt really good about this schedule. And I'm frustrated with how this team has come out. He said, I thought coming into Texas, we could be a 9-1 ball club. We could be an 8-2 ball club, and it just hasn't panned out that way. A 9-1 loss against Mississippi State.
Down to first, tapping on the bag is Gall. Counterpart, Coach Allister had said, when it comes to scheduling, you know, you can go out and schedule easy, win those games, but what are you going to learn? Rather schedule hard, learn something about your team, maybe take a couple of extra losses, but that generally is rewarded when teams are evaluated later in the season too by the tournament committee. Hard hit ball out to center field, but good beat on the ball. coming over. Jones tagging up, sliding in safely is Davis to plate the first run of the game. For UL, 4-1 it stands.
Kind of a mixture of both. Trying to balance between those decisions of knowing that a win is a confidence builder, trying just to get the wheels on the bus early in the year, trying to get headed the right direction, but two, needing to get tested and tested early.
Kennedy hitting another batter, third that she has hit. It's that right wrist, it looked like for Langeliers.
I don't think I'd want to
Greater.
take 70 miles an hour off the wrists. Or anywhere for that matter.
First baseman, Warren Owen.
What an opportunity here, though, for Louisiana. Stringing together some fundamental softball. Davis works her way on with an error, a nice sacrifice fly. Hayden did a good job of getting the ball behind the runner, moving her an extra 60 feet, and now
pinch runner will come in. Kayla Falterman for the hit batter Greater. First pitch swung on, weakly to second. Into the glove of Kern for out number 3. On their lead for Louisiana takes their final opportunity at the plate. First pitch swung on. Coat pops out to Elistad for out number 1.
Catcher, Ellie Kaneshiro.
Stanford will take a brief break and turn around and play a back-to-back. We'll have them in our next game. Here at the Lone Star State Invitational. Kaneshiro walked in the second inning, singled in the fourth. This one over to short. She is safe, legging it out.
we'll see on that call. Heck of a play by Alistad. I want you to notice the transition time there. Backhand and immediately off-foot throw. I think this is a missed call.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's close.
Yeah, looks
but
like
it's wrong.
about a half a beat.
I agree.
That the glove is in, or the ball, excuse me, is in the glove of Allred over at first. This will be the look right here. Glove.
Yeah.
I don't think that, I think that heel is hitting the dirt, but the toes are not on the bag.
We are in a game of inches, if not centimeters, and it comes down to that quick transition in the pocket of that 5-6 hole. The fact that Elistad can transfer the ball backhanded from the glove to the hand, off-foot throw to make this play is a big deal.
So we're in agreement here. Out, out. We've already seen one call overturned in this game. The umpire review is for call on the field being safe at first base. Ump saw what we saw. Kaneshiro is out. The excellent throw by Elistad at short is rewarded for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back outs made by Louisiana shortstop. Bring up Gall. There's a very angry fan.
There's an interesting heated exchange there with Coach Jerry Glasgow and the first base umpire.
And was vocal.
Matt Johnson over there at first base, exchanging a couple words with Jerry Glasgow.
So after the umpires, who were well within their bounds to get a call like that wrong, that's what replay is there for. It was a bang-bang split-second decision. That ball in play out to right. The gap between first and second. Gall is on. Jones had a walk last time up. Prior to that was the double. Hasn't scored yet today, in spite of her 2 times on base.
So we've seen Sam Landry in the circle. We've seen Sam Ryan. Sure, we will see the rest of this staff for Louisiana as the weekend unfolds. Lexi Delbray on staff. Lecker on staff. Riasetto on staff. We've got a lot of arms, a lot of talent on this Louisiana pitching staff that we'll get a chance to witness throughout the weekend.
3-2 pitch, swing and a miss. So the inning ends. The work will be 3 runs for UL when they come up here in the bottom of their trip here in Austin with a victory. 6 innings thus far. The 1 hit, 1 run. It was not earned. 9 strikeouts. The reigning freshman of the year. Now embarking on her sophomore campaign. That's something that, Aaron, even though you may come in highly touted as a recruit, but for a young player, the one thing that is different for Kennedy is now she has to deal with expectations.
And scouting. She's got a full season of scouting reports under her belt. Teams have watched film ad nauseum, likely trying to prep for the heat of her arm.
Yeah, you heard Coach Glasgow say, hey, we were well aware of what we were going to get.
And it's one thing to prep for it, practice for it. It's a whole nother thing to have to show up and actually execute against it, right? She's tough.
You don't think you have anybody on the scout that can, because if you did, you'd be in the circle.
Yeah.
Up top, strikeout number 10, double digits for Kennedy.
But it is important. Every year as a pitching staff, as an arm, especially one with as much talent as Kennedy, to try and evolve season over season, whether that's a new pitch, a different type of spin, a different approach, pitch sequence, mentality even.
I'm gonna need you, okay? If I'm over here efforting stats with Kurt and there's a fly ball.
I'm on it.
You promise?
I'm on it.
You've left me to my own defense sometimes up here. 15 is the season high in terms of strikeouts. That's what I was conversing. Against San Diego State for Kennedy thus far this season. Mentioned last year it had 18 She averaged 11.3 per 7 innings, so right around that. After the strikeout of Piscos, Rowe struck out looking, first time up, grounded out. The last time at the plate in the 5th. That off-speed, just not knowing what to do with it. Tough decision for Rowe. Has the bat out, popped up for out number 2.
Catcher Victoria Valdez.
Rocket over to short for the final out of the ball game into the glove of Mailer. A gem for Kennedy. Throws 10 strikeout